So, Justin here just watched Shutter Island with my bride Nicole, and we have a disagreement. So, what's that about?
Well, what happened was two people walked into a theater, tails wagging, and two people walked out of the theater. One person liked it, and the other person didn't as much.
Yeah.
Or as much she thought she would. Obviously me.
Yeah, so I thought it was good because it was, and she thought it wasn't because
it wasn't.
I was confused or something. I really don't know. But there's going to be a lot of spoilers, so if you don't like this,
leave.
If you don't want to know what happens in the movie, then later. So, basically, by the end, what happens is we realize that most of this was in his mind. Pretty much everything that was happening was either a delusion or a hallucination or something in his mind. It's kind of similar to A Beautiful Mind in that way.
Yeah. But
the point of this movie is much different, I think. What do you think?
I think that you're correct, but I also feel that I didn't appreciate how it was... I'm not going to say blatantly obvious, but something very close to blatantly obvious.
Okay.
If I can say the word.
So she says it was blatantly obvious.
Okay,
we're close to.
Me. Hold on.
She says it was obvious.
It was obvious that it was a psychotic problem.
Okay.
That a lot of things were fabricated through his own mind.
Okay.
And...
Okay, at the end, how many of those things did you know were fabricated 2/3 of the way through the movie?
At the end, those things that of which I didn't know didn't save it.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to wait to get to the end of the movie to start liking it.
Okay.
I went in there with full intent to like the movie and to be impressed and to be, oh, that was a good twist. Or, oh, that was a nice plot and good story. And you know what? It was fine. But I think what killed it for me the most was the music. Because it told me to be afraid or that something was going to happen that was scary. And when you do that too much, it's not. And it wasn't.
Okay. That's fine. If you don't like the music, you think the music sucks, it's overbearing, it's overwhelming, it's... It's fine. That wasn't even on the scary parts.
No, that wasn't on any of the scary parts.
Then why are you complaining it's trying to make you feel a certain way when it wasn't on that part that was supposed to be that way anyways?
Because it needed to stop, because I wanted to watch the movie and not have...
So, if she thinks the music sucks, then I can't disagree with that. That's fine. I didn't think it was bad.
Music also can kill a movie.
So, yeah. The soundtrack was a little overbearing, and if you don't like big, huge compositions, then maybe that was an issue for you.
With pauses to tell you what to feel. Even
though we just established that it wasn't telling you what to feel in those situations because it was in different situations.
It was telling you to be suspended.
Okay. Suspenseful. I think that the movie was put together in a really smart way because what they found out how to do was show you this big story, kind of like Usual Suspects, kind of like The Usual Suspects or Usual Suspects, because they had this story that did have a fairly good plot of what was happening and how he was trying to figure out what was happening on the island and if there was a big conspiracy and if these doctors were really evil and if they were performing all these Nazi-esque sorts of experiments on these people and doing all these bad things.
Right, and he had a big agenda to get anyone who was doing anything close to a Nazi.
Yeah, because his whole backstory was that he was in the war.
And traumatized.
And traumatized, whatever. It's shown in his flashbacks, and so it's very kind of hallucinatory to begin with, because it's just a flashback, it's just a dream. So, anyway, I thought that was interesting. By the time we got to the end of the movie, it made, what they say is, he had all of this in his mind, and he'd been on the island for 2 years, and all they were trying to do was set up this elaborate hoax, basically. Maybe not a hoax, but a situation to show him...
Let him live through his own theory.
Yeah. His psychosis.
Yeah.
His crazy thing that was going on in his mind.
Which he truly believed.
They did that so that he could prove to himself by living it that it wasn't true and he could snap himself out of it. Which I thought was brilliant. I thought was an amazing thing for this island, this whole Shutter Island, to basically in one way or another try to help him out of his psychosis in that way. And I thought that's what saved the movie, because then you saw at the end that it worked,
For a little.
But then it didn't work.
Yeah.
And you see truly how strong that type of mental disorder can be and how affecting it can be. Even when you prove it to yourself, your mind won't let you forget how strong that is. I think on a second viewing, that's important.
I'm fine with that, only I don't think it saved the movie. I think by the time I got there, I didn't care. Okay. Because I was already irritated.
You were irritated at the music.
I was irritated at the music. I was irritated at how obvious it was he was going through psychotic problems. I was perked up when he met the girl in the cave, and I thought just maybe it would be the less obvious and the harder to prove that it was this elaborate scheme from the government and all of that to do all the stuff, but when it got to the end, it was the less harder thing to prove that he was psychotic. My point is that a lot of people, I think, and you and some of the other people we were with included, thought, I figured this whole movie out because I know that a lot of this thing is in his mind. I don't think that's fair at all, because I don't think that a lot of the people who are going to give this movie a bad name actually figured out very much of it. They just said, oh, I know, his accomplice, his partner is fake, and a lot of this stuff is in his mind, and he might have killed his wife. Yeah, okay, that's not the whole movie, though. And the whole movie is not a revelation and a twist. It doesn't have to be a twist. It's about his character, to me. It's about his character. I'm well aware that we didn't go see an M. Night Shyamalan movie. M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm well aware of that.
Because he hasn't made a decent movie in like 10 years.
He's making Avatar.
No, he didn't. James Cameron did. So M. Night Shyamalan hasn't made a decent movie in 10 years.
No,
I don't think.
I'm sorry, you didn't know that the cartoon that he's making, that is now a movie, with the water and the fire, the actual cartoon name is Avatar.
Oh.
Yes.
That actual cartoon is Avatar?
That is actually called Avatar. Yeah, he was the last airbender.
Hollywood sucks. The last airbender.
I know, they shouldn't have let James Cameron have the title of Avatar when there's a cartoon by the name of Avatar and then rename the cartoon. Of course,
Avatar was started like 10
years ago. That's fair.
And Last Airbender, I don't know what Shyamalan's doing. Maybe it'll be good. Who knows? I don't know anything about the cartoon. The point is, I don't think that this movie will be getting a fair rap, because I think a lot of the people are going to talk about a twist. And to me, most movies that have a twist aren't that good because of the twist. Most movies are good.
But it's a mystery, and mysteries, I believe,
kinda need
twists.
Okay, but it wasn't like, it's kind of a mystery, but
he's walking around and he's like, what's going on? I need to figure out this. It's gotta be this. It's gotta be this. Oh, maybe it's not that. And then you have a twist.
Yeah, that he's psychotic.
That wasn't a twist. That was something that was very obvious. And then by the time you got to that point, you didn't care anymore.
I cared because I cared about his character and I cared about his backstory, and I understood all these things that happened with his wife and his kids and everything. I felt bad for him
at the end.
Okay, and the fact that he cannot overcome that, no matter how hard he tries, and even when he's put into this perfect situation, this expertly concocted environment for him to figure that out, and he couldn't figure it out. He did figure it out, I'm sorry, but then it still overwhelmed him. I think that is very true and very telling and very important to understand how the mind works, and as an overall symbolic thing of the mind's power to create these illusions when there are very serious issues in your life and very traumatic events come around. And that was the point of the movie. It had nothing to do with an actual twist for me. You got 30 seconds. So we're running out of time.
Bottom line is, 80% of the movie, I was waiting for it to have that, and then it didn't.
So you wanted...
I don't know what to say.
You wanted him to figure all this stuff out a third of the way through?
The music probably killed it for me. The commercial alluded that it was a horror.
The commercial was bullshit.
It was false advertising.
Totally false advertising. You thought there was going to be...
ghosts and, like, walls moving
and a horror movie.
Shit, and I don't know. I just totally thought it was going to be the opposite
otherworldly stuff. Yeah, that didn't happen.
No.
If you liked the commercial, obviously we told you what the movie was about now, so it doesn't really matter. But if you thought the commercial was cool because you wanted to see that type of movie, then this is not going to be that kind of movie. So, for sure.
So
I liked it. She thought it sucked.
I think the music might have killed it for me more than the actual storyline, I'll admit.